capacity. But if Madhu is available, she can continue with you, because we were actually, it's uncanny how you reached out to us, because, just 2 days back, we had said we had to reach out to you and to Neil.
Oh, how very kind. I'm glad I was on your mind.
Yeah. No. You were there, right there. And unfortunately for us, I couldn't travel again, because in June I was to travel and I was coming to DC.
Yes, well, we were looking forward to your visit. You were very kind to reach out to me. And then, of course, the pandemic, right?
Yeah, that too. So let me just get started here. So, CAF India started 20 years back. And this started when we actually probably had, I wasn't engaged with them, and it was probably only CAF UK. And the first 10 years, CAF UK funded everything here. We were like a part of CAF UK. They paid all the salaries and expenses, and I think even funding. And we were relatively small, but that, I think, period was good, because kind of it said, good news was that they got still very, very good people to come on the board to do. And then I think maybe in 2009-10 time period, CAF UK said, guys, enough. Stand on your own 2 feet. We have supported you. Go find your own donors and your own ambitions and so on. And we quite appreciate what CAF does, CAF International, CAF UK, because, they, within the broad guidelines, they let us be, right? So, in terms of both governance and operation, it's more about sharing best practices, etc. And I would say that all of us in the board, and we are very fortunate that we have always had some very good people. We have a very balanced board. We have people from the corporate sector. We have people, very, very senior people from the government on our board. We have people from the social sector, as you heard Madhu talk about. And we also have people who are experts in taxation and governance in the social sector, right? So it's kind of a good balance of people that we have. But in this last 10 years, CAF kind of found its own feet, and we grew reasonably well. Also, I would think that because of CAF worldwide, let me put that way, I think we have a very well-respected name. There are so many NGOs who are looking around, but I think we are well-respected because we have this international affiliation, best practices, and people are always looking at us for very high governance, and, the lineage differentiates us from many others like us who operate. So with that, I think we have been growing. I met with John Lowe about 3 years back in London, and he mentioned about you and what US was doing. And he also explained to me that UK and US were, more integrated than some of us are. So while he, appreciated all that we were doing, he raised one thing about me. He said, you're doing well, but, for a country like India, your ambitions are too low, right? And we were always talking about this, that within our board, that look, so many of us spend time, but our ambitions are quite low. We are happy with what it is. Ambitions are not low, but, we were kind of happy with what it was. And we were very much following the CAF global model, if I may, as we understand it, that you have donors. Donors have certain areas that they want to be, committed to. And when we have donors coming in, and they tell us we want to invest in a particular area, or we want to contribute in a place, we go and find and qualify partners or, other organizations in the social sector to deliver that. And then we would go evaluate both sides, ensure that governance is given, and I think both are happy. And we would do our own analysis, a little bit of field work, etc. So that was very much going on. Then in 2 years back, we all sat down together, partly pushed in a sense by what John said, but also what we all thought, that we should review where we are. And we actually appointed a consultant very well known in the social sector to look at both internal and external views of ours. And we realized that while we have done fairly well in 10 years. I think there's a lot more work to do. So we called the first 10 years as CAF 1.0 and the next 10 years as CAF 2.0. And 21 is where we are launching CAF 3.0, right?
Okay.
And this is what we would have called to brief you on. And I will ask Madhuji later to speak about the...
So this is your CAF India 2.0 plan.
So that
strategy.
So that was the last 10 years.
Okay.
Right. So CAF 3.0 is what to start.
3.0 is now the new strategy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we have actually done, very detailed work there in spite of the pandemic being here, where we actually reviewed everything that we were doing. We spoke to our donors where we, lack, what we do well, what we don't. We spoke to our NGO partners. We spoke to all our employees. We got our, we are not a very large organization. We have about 45, 50 people. And we said, okay, why don't you, all get engaged in this? And they came up with a vision. So we all had a kind of a virtual offsite, if you may call it, right? Where every one of us participated over almost a day we spent on doing this. And we came up with a particular strategy. So while we were doing this, Ted, we got hit by change in Indian laws.
Yes.
And we had this rule, we had this law which is called the FCRA
law.
Yeah. Now this government had done because they thought that there are lots of activists who are trying to change the ethos of the country. You know how it is. And money is coming in. We were concerned about religious conversions and so on. So I'm not getting into the politics of all that because we were not into that space, but maybe some organizations were. And the current government kept tightening the regulations till they came up with this new amendment in September last year, which is just about 8 months back, which threw us completely out of gear because our donors, even if they are based in India, they are largely foreign companies. And they were used to the FCRA way of giving us money. And, they didn't shift, though there was a time where they could have given the money under the rupee account. But anyway, not to go into details, we got stuck at a position where, and the big rule that impacted us was that if you receive foreign money, then there were some restrictions on how you can spend it. Mm-hmm. And, that restriction was severe for us because it challenged our whole existing model. So instead of really working on implementing the 3.0 in full gusto, we had to spend tremendous amount of time and effort to recover from where we were. So we went to each of our donors to see if they would switch to the rupee account. And many, many did, but we lost one of the largest accounts we had, which was Oracle. And Oracle was 40%. They were committed. They were long-term. So if you lose a 40% donor, which, as it is, we all had felt very risky and we were trying to diversify the donor base. But it takes time to reduce from a 50%. Actually, we went down from 50 to 40 or something like that because we were expanding our donor base to reduce. But, that not going to give till actually we're still raising that money, right? So we have to spend that money. So we have kind of navigated this year, but that was a big change. This also meant direct implementation of some not doing. We were basically
I think you might be having some internet. Are you seeing that, Madhu,
as
well?
Yes.
A little bit of a stall, yeah. That happens sometimes.
Somji, we are not able to connect.
I think he'll be back, probably. But do you want to kind of continue from... so I understand that, and I'm very familiar with the FCRA law, Okay, he's coming back in now. So he